Yo, yo. Mic check, mic check. One, two, three. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Today's episode 4 of our Real2Reality podcast, and today we have another special guest for you. Would you like to introduce him, Osmar?
Our special guest today is Ahmed Khan. Please make your way to our table.
What's good, brother?
How you doing? How you doing? How you guys doing?
Chilling, man.
Not
Yo,
too
watch that.
bad.
Yeah, bro.
So,
would you like to introduce yourself?
Just introduce yourself. Tell us a little about who you are, what you do, how old you are. The simple stuff.
Just the simple stuff. So all you guys know, my name's Ahmed. I'd look at Usman as my little brother. We could say. Known him for a couple years now. Even Josh.
Couple years.
Played soccer with him a couple years back. Unfortunately, I quit though.
We all did.
Quit.
Oh, I did too.
Stuff happens in
Yeah,
life. You gotta quit. You gotta quit. But yeah, I go to MRU right now. Majoring in accounting. Josh is
Yo.
arch nemesis.
Accounting, first of all, and
accounting
MRU.
and finance. We got the accounting and finance beef going on, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how does it feel to go to MRU?
It's different. It's different.
It's like high
Growing
school,
up-
right?
Huh?
It's like high school, right?
You could say. Maybe a little bit
Mhm.
more wild, but you feel like an adult going to uni, going to MRU.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
even USC, I don't know. I haven't been there, but uni in general, the uni life,
Yeah,
you feel like an
100%.
adult. You're growing up, you're changing. But yeah.
Yeah, bro. Growing up is crazy if you think about it.
Yeah. So let's get into the topic of today. We're gonna talk about confidence, but just a quote to lead us into that is your success will be determined by your own confidence and fortitude.
That is actually
Mhm.
that is very fact.
That is facts.
I know we all play sports, and there's a stat that says 80% of the sport is mental, and 20% is actually skill. Like you can be good, however skillful you are in a sport, it doesn't matter as long as if you don't have confidence.
Mm-hmm.
No, honestly,
for
I used
sure.
to I used to tell actually I don't know if I ever spoke to you about this, but on my team I always used to tell people that whenever we got new people joining, everybody would always clown about how bad they were or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I always told them like it doesn't matter how good the person is, because at the end of the day, if he's willing to put in twice the amount of work that you are, I'm sure he'd rather get the spot from the coach than you will, just because you got skills,
Yeah.
If you don't have the right attitude, you don't have the right mindset, then, you're better off on the bench than playing.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's true. It's attitude and confidence. 100%.
Yeah, it's like it goes hand in hand. It does. You need to have a good attitude, right?
No, 100%.
Even anything in life, not just
And ev-
sports.
Yeah, not just sports. So yeah, guys, I think confidence is key in life, not just with
Mhm.
sports, but in every walks of life. I'm sure we have all been at a point, not just us three,
Yeah.
but also the viewers, where there's been a point in our life where insecurity might take over us for whatever reason it could be, right? And it's hard to get out of that slump, because I know I personally dealt with that for a while, and part of it had to do with how I looked, because I was out of shape, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why they say look good, feel good.
Yeah.
And if you've noticed, it sounds stupid to guys, but some girls will just get ready at home. They won't do anything, and
No,
they'll just
yeah.
take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Oh,
think that's, if you think
yeah,
about
yeah.
Right?
I've noticed that.
it, girls do that. And I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just assuming it has to do with the whole look good, feel good. And it's true. I've done that. Like, for example, let's say I have to go out and fill gas, right? And I'm like all bummy and stuff. So I'll just go shower, put on some clothes, like
Yeah.
actual clothes, like appropriate attire for going outside. Like if I was going to a mall or something, or out for dinner, I'll fix my hair, I'll put on cologne, and my entire mood is just uplifted.
Kind of going off of how you said attitude about life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure both of you guys have probably heard about this story. Well, I originally heard it on TikTok, but it was a guy who he went in to go do a final exam. I don't know if it was for med or engineering or what it
Oh
was.
yeah, I think I know.
think you
I know
what I'm
the
talking
story.
about
I know
now.
the
Have
story.
you heard about it?
No.
Okay, but basically, he went in. He was basically a high school dropout.
Okay.
No good grades, no nothing. His mom told him, go do the test, try your hardest, whatever.
Mhm.
He does the test. 2 weeks later, his marks come back. He was expecting an F. He ended up getting an A.
No, I know the
So
story
he
now.
started acting like he got an A. He properly started putting in work. He finished his high school year. He graduated, went to uni, whatever, started a business. He became one of the most, I don't know how you could say it, but
Successful, wealthiest
Yeah,
individual.
successful
people, yeah. A couple years down the line after he became, you could say, a multi-millionaire, he got an email in his inbox that said 7 people that year got the wrong.
Grade.
I think it was SAT. It was
SAT.
SAT scores.
He
Is
was
the
one
wrong
of-
score.
He was one of them. But it's, again, when it said attitude, it's not about what you do, but he started acting like the A-star student when in reality he wasn't. So like, again, it's your mindset, and when you like change it and when you start acting like the person you want to be, you'll eventually become that person. Because in like, you know, if he kept that mindset of failing, being the high school dropout, he would have never been that successful. But when he started acting like the entrepreneur and everything, that's when he eventually reached those limits, you know?
I want to touch on that. You guys obviously know about the placebo effect,
Yeah.
and there's many stories about placebo. But touching on that topic, it's like if you whatever you put your mind to is what will happen to you, right? I think there was this story of an experiment of a placebo effect, where there was a poisonous candy, berries. It was berries, poisonous berries, and non-poisonous berries, and then there was 2 groups of people, right? 7 people who took the poisonous berries, but they told them it wasn't poisonous. And the other 7, they took the non-poisonous berries, but told them it was poisonous, right? Based on your placebo effect, the one that took the poisonous berries, but told them that it wasn't poisonous, they survived, while the other ones, they died due to poison. And right, that is basically putting to that perspective is whatever you put into your mind is what you will become, or what your output will be in life. Right? If you are confident about yourself, you will be confident. You will be able to grow up with things and do things that, you know, you don't know that you could even do. But if you're always constantly negatively thinking about things, then you're always going to put yourself down. And you're always going to go down even to a worse path. And there's a lot of people, especially in high school, there's a lot of people that is always pessimistic of how they think. And it really destroys them, you know?
And that's honestly interesting, because I was just gonna say, like, that could totally work against you. Like, that's why there's pathological liars. Like, they'll lie about the tiniest things, and it gets to a point where they start believing it.
Yeah.
Right? So it could work against you as well.
Mm-hmm.
It could, but I that's honestly insane. Like telling yourself something to the point where you actually believe it's true. And you know, you know how in movies there's those like lie detector tests, like those like spikes in those graphs, right? They say the best way to pass those is, like, for example, let's say you go to the mall, right? But your actual intention is of going to somewhere else. Like, let's just say, like, you lie to your parents and you want to go somewhere else. If you did go to the mall, but you also did that same thing, and then you come back home and your parents are like, oh, where were you? You're better, like, you'll have a higher chance of getting away with that lie, because deep down you know, like, oh, I did go to the mall, but your intention is different. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying, yeah. But, I don't know, life's a very weird situation to get into.
What do you mean you don't even ask to be born, you know?
No, but I'm just saying, like, just getting into, like, speaking about it, you could say everything about it. Like, look, we have a glass right here. I'm sure half of us are a half glass empty type of person instead of a half glass full.
You
know? Like, you know, it's weird. Like, I don't want to bring religion into this, but, like, as you know, we're both Muslims, and we're always looking at life as, like, grateful and just always looking at the best opportunities. And, like, kind of how you said that, like, if you tell yourself something over and over again, how you'll start to believe it. And I feel like that goes both ways. Because, like, how you said, like, if you just constantly lie and perceive a certain perspective, you're gonna believe that. But, like, it could also go your way as well. Because if you say, for example, we play sports, if we told each other that we were gonna be professional soccer players, and we stuck to it and we put in the work, then who knows, eventually we could have become professional soccer players, you know? So it goes both ways, just like half full, half empty.
Nah, I always tell my brother this, cause my brother, like in terms of soccer, like he's skillful. Like I trained him that way, but I don't even train him anymore based on what he does with his footwork or anything. I train him in his mind. You know, I always tell him, look, 80% of the game is mental. Whatever you think, whatever you're gonna act, how you're gonna act based on your mentality, is how you're gonna play, right? So like, look at Kobe, look at Michael Jordan, look at LeBron James, look at the growths of every single sport. What is the thing they have in common? Their mentality. They're mentally strong. No matter how many haters they have, no matter who's telling them this, who's telling that, criticizing them, they're always gonna say, "I'm gonna do what I do. I'm confident." Sometimes people confuse confidence and hard mentality with cockiness.
This is gonna relate to Ronaldo and Messi fans.
Yeah, I know. We're not targeting anything here, but it's like I respect Ronaldo a lot for sure, though. You know, because of his confidence. Just the way he does things, and I feel like I said with you with soccer, if I think one of my weakest aspects was that mentality. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's hard. I'm gonna be honest. It's just like it's not even about like being physically strong playing sports. You don't need to be physically strong at all. Like but it's all about mental. Like for example, going back to Ronaldo, Messi, I'm sure you already know that, especially Ronaldo. As you know, I mean he's my GOAT, but so I know
Not
more
mine,
about him than Messi, but we can have this topic. we can have a chat about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But, for example, he was always the first one on the pitch and the last one off, And again, that he obviously you're gonna be not mentally, physically drained, training 24/7 every day, especially at that level. You're already putting so much work with your team.
Yeah.
But again, outside of that, you're putting in that work yourself before and after. So again, being mentally strong, whether it comes to sports or school or life, how we're getting into it, it's just being mentally strong is being honestly it's the hardest thing, but it's the best thing to achieve.
Yeah. And even just to relate to the viewers who don't play sports, like school, everyone goes to school, right? If you're going to go into a test thinking, okay, I'm going to fail, probably nine times out of 10, you are going to fail. But if you go into the test confident, knowing, look, I studied everything, I'm straight, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get a straight A, majority of the time, you'll do good. Right? Sometimes you'll still mess up.
I'm not even going to lie based off that. I know so many people, they don't study.
Yeah.
Even in uni, they don't study, but they go into the midterm final quizzes. They go in with confidence.
Confidence, yeah.
They go in like they're gonna ace that test, like they've been studying for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they come out acing that test, and it's just it's your mindset.
It
is. It comes down to law of attraction, right? Like whatever you put out there, there's times where I just say the most wild things just to speak it into existence. I'm serious.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, it is.
It's true. It's true. If you have a good, optimistic attitude towards life, going back to attitude, and you just say positive things all the time, you'll actually speak it into existence. And I only believe that to a certain extent because obviously I'm a Muslim, so I believe that whatever happens to me, it comes from Allah, right? So I believe it to a certain extent.
And kind of going off of how you said, whatever you portray is what you're gonna receive. It's also like that, especially in uni. I'm sure you guys have already experienced this, but you meet lots of new people.
Oh yeah.
And
Not a lot.
no, literally, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know half the people.
Some of us.
So, I don't know. From first, second year, I don't even know any of them. But still, you meet them.
Yeah.
But the first kind of interaction you have, the vibes you give off with them are obviously the vibes you're gonna get back. And some people you're also gonna create good relationships with. And it's all based off of just the vibes you give. If you wanna, I don't want to swear, but if you wanna be weird or whatever with people that you meet for the first time, obviously you're gonna get the same thing back. Yeah. You're not gonna create relationships, and I feel like the biggest thing in life is creating relationships.
No, I was on a phone call with one of this guy from he was gonna offer me an internship, and I said to him the biggest skill a person can have in life is how you present yourself, is how you talk to people, how you communicate, how to make that connection, right? Because what are we without connections? What are we if we're just alone, right? Everybody needs a connection. Everybody needs a circle. Everybody needs friends, especially in jobs. You can't get a job without a connection, right? You
Yeah.
can't, even in sports, you can't go anywhere without a connection. You need a connection. And the best thing to do, again, confidence. Confidence is so key.
And it's funny because what did you ask me like literally like 3 days ago when I said I'm getting a haircut? What did you say?
What? Who's your connection?
Listen,
This guy's
no,
bamboozled, bro.
listen. He
What did I ask? I don't even
listen,
remember.
listen. I got a haircut like 3-4 days ago, right? And he's like, I told him, do you remember? I told you, and you were like, why are you getting another haircut?
Oh, look presentable.
And what did I say? I'm like, to look presentable. And that's also important, how you look, because you never know who you can run into. Like, you might be at a grocery store, and who knows, there's a huge business opportunity waiting for you. Like, the odds of that happening, obviously, they're really slim, right? But, you know, why would you even take that risk?
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you look good and someone approaches you, for whatever reason it is, right? I'm just saying, like, you need to look presentable at all times. That's why, as stupid as it sounds, I get a haircut almost every week now,
Yeah.
just to look presentable.
Uh-huh.
Because you never know what opportunities could come your way just because of your looks.
You think that's bad? I remember at one point this guy used to get one every couple of days.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Him and his brother, they used to go
yeah.
every couple of days.
yeah.
In high school?
In grade
Oh,
12.
God knows what.
You were online in grade 12.
Look presentable, bro.
Then
Look
again-
Fair enough,
presentable.
fair enough.
Look
Look presentable.
Hey,
Like, being
better-
presentable, but I feel like we can say as much as we want. Look presentable. But if it doesn't come within, you know. like,
exactly.
You're
Yeah.
not, like, presentable is different for everybody, you know?
Mhm.
We all have different fashion senses.
Fashion sense.
We all have, you know, we all like different haircuts. We all do different things. You know, it's just, if you want that change, then that change is going to happen. And that comes for everything in life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to change towards doing something, that has to come within.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this happens with everything, whether it's school, sports, religion, anything. I've related to this the most with religion. If you want that change to come with religion and you like seek for it, then it's gonna come, you know. But if, for example, I'm going to the mosque because this mosque telling me let's go to the mosque, you know, at a point I might just be going just because he asked me to go, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not like Osman asked me to go to the mosque and I genuinely want to go to the mosque, want to learn, want to get new information, that's when that change is gonna come. You know what I'm saying?
I'm actually gonna touch on that in terms of religion. I'm like, you guys are Muslim, I'm Christian, and there's also a lot of people that we know that are like lukewarm, right? Like they proclaim they're Muslim, but they don't act like Muslim. They proclaim they're Christian, but they don't act like Christian, right? And like you said, like you need to be able to like learn. You want to need to do it yourself, because if obviously we grow up in a family, we're just being fed. Right, like, okay, look, you have to do this, you have to say this, you have to act like this. But if you don't want to do it internally yourself, it's not gonna happen.
And I feel like that's harder for us because we've grown up in such a westernized
Western world,
Western
Yeah.
world.
because
Yeah.
the Western world is full of
If,
distractions.
if you grew up back home, he grew up back home, I grew up back home, we wouldn't have had this issue because we're gonna be around it all
Yeah.
the time.
Mhm.
But for us to be in Canada and, you know, learn one thing from our family, and obviously us being young, you know, you obviously want to do the opposite of your family. You're gonna go out, you're gonna see things, you're gonna want to do that, and then it just kind of, you know, leads off of that. Like, if that change doesn't come within, especially for us being so young in a Western country, then it's not gonna come.
Honestly, like, your environment is important, but I'm gonna push back onto what you said, where you said if we grew up back home. I disagree, bro. I've seen the condition in Pakistan, and I'm telling you, they've had these Eurocentric views instilled in them, and it's literally just like being in the West. If anything, one could argue it's even worse. Yeah, straight up.
But I feel like that's everywhere though.
But nowadays it's like that, I guess.
That's the issue, right? It's the Eurocentric ideas that are being instilled everywhere throughout the entire world.
Obviously, the West dominates this entire world.
Yeah.
It's the most influential thing. But yeah, like, it's hard, bro. It's hard to stay confident in your faith nowadays too, in terms of confidence in their topic, right? Lots of distractions everywhere, you know. Bro, I tell this guy every day, bro. I can't, bro. The only way to get through uni is through prayer, bro. Like, so many distractions, temptations everywhere.
And I'll be honest, I find the most peace at uni. in the prayer room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this guy started.
I
going to pray.
started
Yeah,
I started
respect.
going, and it's like for those 10-15 minutes
Uh-huh.
that I'm in that room, I'm detached from the entire world. Like I don't feel that sort of peace when I'm studying or regardless of what I'm doing. It's just whether I'm at the mosque or the prayer
Mhm.
room, I feel the most peace.
Well, and kind of going off of like connections as well. You like you said, you're in the prayer room for 10-15 minutes.
Mhm.
But I don't know how or why or like where it comes from. You might feel the same way, but like the 10-15 minutes you're in there, it could feel like an hour because like all the things you're going through, all the ideas going through your mind, you're also with like-minded people, so it's easy to connect with them.
Mhm.
And it's very different, but I'd say in a good way. Like creating those connections, especially like that, because a lot of people, religion's probably their number one priority. I
Mhm.
feel like everything goes based off of religion.
It does. It does. 100%.
And especially with like Christianity and Islam, they're very like intertwined.
Oh yeah.
So like
Yeah, we
you
talk
can
about
kind
this
of
all the
relate
time.
off like our religion, we can
Yeah.
relate off your religion. So like you probably get where we're coming from, but like it's crazy. Like the religion aspect and just the peace you find through praying and everything.
100%.
Mhm.
It's just something I feel like you'll never find in any other aspect of life, honestly.
Yo, I didn't expect to talk about this so soon, but basically, I will touch on that. When I was like living in the world, like when you were like lusting for all these things for pleasure, right? That's when honestly I felt the most insecure, right? When I told you what I said earlier, I'm not gonna say it just because of respect, but that's the reason why I felt so insecure because I was living in the world. I didn't have confidence in myself. I didn't have confidence in
Can I
God.
say something?
Yeah.
It's not that you're living in the world, you're living in someone else's world, is what I'm gonna say.
True.
You're living in somebody
True.
else's world to like
By yourself.
satisfy yourself in a world that you don't belong in. That's why like with the weird like different universes, different lives. A lot of people talk about different lives.
Mhm.
Like you in a past life or something. And we're in I've heard this a lot, but whatever, you're in this life because your past lives didn't work or whatever, something along the lines of that. And like, you can kind of say like relating off that, like you were living off of somebody else's life and that life didn't work. So like, it obviously wasn't meant whatever it is, but like at the end of the day, you just gotta live your life and satisfy your responsibilities and actions and justify yourself rather than living for somebody else. Because then again, that's the only place you're gonna find happiness. If you're doing everything for yourself, not for somebody else.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people, I don't know if you guys can relate or not. I mean, I haven't really found it like this, but like I know some people, they get into relationships and once they've gotten into that relationship, they'll lose themselves.
That was
gain
me,
weight.
bro.
They'll gain weight.
that you
They'll
too?
gain whatever because like this guy's smiling too much. Because you do everything for the short amount of time to satisfy that person. Once you have that person, then you're like, okay, I have, nothing to look forward to. And, obviously, like, once you're in a relationship, nobody's going to break up with you just for the sake, you got fat. Like, nobody does that.
Yeah, obviously.
But that's why people let themselves go, because they're satisfying somebody else. They're not satisfying themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, again,
No, 100%. I completely agree. 100% agree. You gonna touch on that or no?
We'll leave that for a different
Yeah. That'll be a
episode.
different episode. But yeah, going back to that, I do agree with that because
Yeah, I agree too, but we'll just save
yeah,
that for
we'll save that, bro. This is gonna be a whole episode in itself. So yeah, but yeah, going back to that, what I was saying is like I lost myself, like again in another person, right? And when that finally cut off, right, I could have easily just distracted myself again. Could have found another person, right? But instead of doing that, I got closer to God, and that's where I found my peace, right? And that's where I found my confidence again. I literally, bro, I used to be so insecure about my height. Now I walk around uni like I'm 6 foot tall. You know what I'm saying? Like I go up to everybody, I say what's up to everybody. Like it doesn't. I'm not affected
You're on
by
that
anything.
Kyrie wave.
My Kyrie Wave?
Yeah, like I'm 7 feet.
Oh
I
yeah,
can pull up.
yeah. I'm you, bro.
I'm you in your past life. You're that Kyrie wave.
No, facts, bro.
He's just Kevin Durant, just staring at you like, what's this guy on about?
Oh, dude. But yeah, that's that. Oh,
Who knew was gonna get to this talk?
yeah, bro. I'm you. You me. That was so funny. I love Kyrie though. I love Kyrie.
That's we all love Kyrie, but that's also another episode, guys.
Oh man, trust.
You gotta have what's his name for that?
Who?
Your buddy. You guys also have the basketball beef over.
Oh, Zayn.
Zayn.
We'll say Zayn.
Shout out,
Yeah,
shout out
shout out
Zayn.
Zayn. Shout out Zayn, bro. Love you, Zayn.
Love you, Zayn.
That's
Yeah.
gonna get heated between this guy and Zayn.
Oh nah, it's gonna be heated
You
episode.
can't have them in the same room, bro. You
Yeah.
can't have them in the same
You're
room.
gonna be throwing hands, bro.
No, the Lakers have been winning. They won today.
Yeah, you know
AD,
why?
bro.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because LeBron's not playing. That's the reason why.
Okay, yeah, yeah, guys,
Someone's getting touched, bro. Someone's getting touched.
stay tuned, guys. We're gonna have an NBA
Yeah,
episode.
this guy's gonna bring a whole
Hmm.
chart to the podcast next time.
But yeah, speaking on to like, I don't want to get too in depth with the whole like relationship issue, but a mistake that a lot of people make, and if you are doing this, maybe you can learn something from what I'm saying, is that if you just get out of a relationship and you try getting into a bunch of other relationships, you're trying to get self-fulfillment through other people, and that will never work out.
Then you're just
Ever.
gonna keep
You're-
going and going and going.
All you're doing is just having that temporary fulfillment that someone's giving you, that attention, and realistically it's not going to give you any benefit in the future. If anything, I could argue that it's just going to screw you over 10 times more.
Bro, that's another topic, bro. Attention.
Yeah, like
Attention's a big
and-
thing, bro.
yeah, it's funny because people get fulfillment and attention mixed together, right? It's not the same thing.
It's just like you
because-
say love and attachment, people mix up.
Yeah, love and attachment, or like love and lust, it's not the same thing. So fulfillment and attention, they're very two different things. The only things that have ever given me fulfillment in this life is religion and actually me just working on myself, whether trying to improve in the gym, or whether it was with studying, work, just anything that keeps me busy and that's productive, whether it's reading a book. These things, when you add them all together, that's when you feel fulfilled.
And I was literally just talking to Usman about this earlier before you came over, about just doing something productive with your day, even if it's something small, something stupid. If it's productive, it's not harming nobody. Who cares?
Yeah, you feel good though. Low key.
That's why, again, internally,
Yeah.
you gotta feel it internally, whether it's change or whatever it is. As long as it's productive and it's good, business talks future economic benefit. Like at the end of the day, no matter what it is in life, for example, this podcast, you guys aren't, you guys are thinking about the long run.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people get mixed up with that because they do something expecting short-term, results, like going to the gym. I'm sure you've met so many people that go to the gym, 2 months in, they're like, why haven't I got no results?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a slow and steady race, you could say,
I'm gonna touch on that because I think I talked about this the other episode, but I'm gonna go more in depth. Is the instant things, right? Everyone wants instant results, and even that with relationships, instant pleasure, right? If it's gonna be instant pleasure, then obviously that's not gonna benefit you in the long run. Something that's not gonna last. You're only doing it for a temporary, like they only see temporary, but they don't see long term. What's the point of doing it? If the temporary is only gonna be now, but what is gonna happen in the future? And that's the thing. You always have to look long term. Enjoy your temporary moment now, but also think long term.
And when my sister got married a couple years back, so I don't know if you know too much about religion, but we have like the signing of the paper. And
Is that for marriage?
for marriage, you have to sign the papers or whatever, and then it's official. So the paper, it means it's official. And
we do
then
that too.
no, but like we have like a whole speech and all that. And we have like a sheikh does it.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what a sheikh is.
Basically, like a priest. You
Yeah,
could
a
say.
priest. You could say, yeah, a pastor is like our sheikh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he said this one thing. It was about love, and just kind of speaking about how like anything present, like you shouldn't think about present. He said his mom used to tell him, love your wife more than yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow.
Mhm.
So do more than you did yesterday, but push for more tomorrow. Don't think about today. Learn from your past mistakes and use that to grow for the future. You know, don't think about where you are right now. Think about what you've done and where you can be. You know?
Yeah, and especially the Western world, man. It's like, honestly, it's corrupt. We are living in a corrupt society. Like sleeping around, like going to the club and then after that sleeping around with someone you just met. It's messed up. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl or whatever you classify as. I don't care. It's messed up. It takes away from your like spiritual energy. It does. You're giving your energy to someone else. And in the long run, like I'm sure there's studies which even support this, that the people who always mess around in their teens and like into their young adult life, like they've slept around so much, they've done so many different things with so many different people, so many different relationships, that when it comes time to settle down, they can't. They can't at all, because they're so used to that life of just finding someone, having that instant pleasure, and then bam, next one, right? So even then, that's why today people aren't getting married.
Because they just want to go from pleasure to pleasure.
Yeah, just one body to another. So it's disgusting. Some people see it as a game.
Oh,
It's disgusting. It's filthy. It's degenerate. It's nasty. And you need to completely check yourself if you do this shit.
You know, I'm going to flip the podcast around a little bit. I'm going to ask you guys a question. You know, I'm doing accounting. I genuinely hate it. But my teacher always tells me one thing. Perspective is the biggest thing. Whether it's you've taken accounting, right? You've taken accounting as well.
I've taken accounting.
You know how there's always like FOB shipping
Yes,
destination.
yes.
So again, so when you're writing journal entries, whatever, it depends on the perspective you're writing it on.
Hated that.
So what do you think, both of you guys, what perspective has to do on life? It could be the same topic, what it is, doesn't matter what it is, because there's always going to be two perspectives to one thing.
Bro,
So how
even
big do
now,
you think
there's always a
perspective is, bro?
perspective now. Bro, trust. I think perspectives is what divides this world, right? I'm not going to get too political, but there's a left and a right side,
Yeah.
right? There's two perspectives, and it completely divides everything. Even in religion, there's different perspectives in religion, different aspects of religion. And perspective literally shapes our entire world. If everyone had the same perspective, then we would all just be robots, right? Everyone would just be doing the same thing, blah, blah, blah. I believe perspective is very important in life because it creates diversity, but it also creates a lot of other things.
Conflict. It creates lots
Yeah.
of conflict.
But there's no life without conflict.
Yeah, that is true.
Exactly.
Good point.
What's going to make life entertaining without conflict?
Like every
Mhm.
time we have a debate, I always go on the opposing side. Even if I know I'm wrong, it's just to create a
And I'm
conflict.
sure they taught you this in junior high too. Don't go with the easiest side.
Yeah, never.
Go with the side because again, it's gonna intrigue you to learn more about it. If you go with the easiest side, you're gonna do less research. You're gonna put in less effort. You're just gonna go for the debate. But if you go for the side, especially in high school, what was his name, bro? Yeah,
Mr.
so many debates in his class, and he'd ask us what side we wanted, and he'd give us opposite on purpose because he knew that we were gonna do more research, and then eventually you're gonna learn more, and then you get better grades, whatever.
That's why I love social studies. There was one social teacher in my grade 12, and there was a thing she always told me is question everything, especially what in this world.
And they say it now too. Nothing's ever a stupid question.
Yes, exactly. There is nothing.
There isn't.
But the thing is, in this world, they make it so crazy that if you do try to be different and change the narrative and be against the agenda, you're labeled as crazy, and that's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, it also depends on I said, you also gotta be sensitive with this, bro. Especially, you gotta understand when to say what. That's one very big thing. The older you get, you realize this. You gotta know when to take initiative and when to, step back.
That's true. Silence is also power.
Yeah, silence is also power. I'm sure, I know I do this, but before I'm about to say something, I swear, I'm not even joking. I think about it 100 times over before I even say something. Even when you guys are talking, I'm literally thinking, I'm like, not what to say, but if a thought crosses my mind, I really think about it. I'm like, yo, should I say this? Because as we know, censorship
Mm-hmm.
and
It's a
cancellation,
big thing now.
it's a big thing now. So whatever, I'm sure, like, whatever the three of us say here, guys, we really think about it beforehand.
And just to touch on that, it's just crazy nowadays that we even have to do that.
Yeah. What happened to free speech?
I mean,
Yeah, I'm being honest, bro. Politics are a myth, bro.
politics is a myth. You know, global
Yeah.
warming is a myth.
Bro, everything's a
Honestly,
myth,
the Earth is
man.
flat.
Honestly, I'm sure somebody's out there trying to prove it still. Just because they want to be different.
Nah, we can't say too much on that.
Yeah.
We can't.
No, but
Yeah.
again, like, the government uses, for like freedom of speech, they use it for their advantage. They have it there for their advantage. They don't have it there for us.
I will say this. To the extremities I am gonna go on. They're now using safety as a huge component to what you can and cannot say.
Yeah, if you know what he's talking about, you know.
Yeah, and no, it's facts.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the people that don't know?
Well,
I'm sure they can put two and two together. What does safety have to pertain to in today's world?
ever since 2020 started, you can tell how
What safety?
how
means.
safety
Yeah.
is being used. Safety of information. Oh, you can't say this because it's not safe for people to hear. Blah blah blah. It's not safe for the kids to hear. It's not safe for other people to hear. Don't go this, don't do that, or because it's not safe. It's they're using safety now.
Speaking about 2020, COVID, how much did that change your life?
And that, guys, that will be for part 2.
Part two.